I have a wind tunnel. I have demonstrations, benchmarks, so please keep watching. I'm so excited for the virtual wind tunnel. This is a one-woman production.
What do you want me to do? When I do this, you start talking.
This is Nazli Guleryuz, and today...
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nazli Guleryuz.
I'm going to talk about the car component that taxed heavily Max Verstappen's performance in Istanbul Grand Prix 2020.
Hello everyone.
His front wing was not adjusted right. It was 7 degrees off, and that cost him a great lap time. But how is this possible, right?
Flap. This slot gap and the angle of the flap determines the level of downforce, and it's adjustable during the Grand Prix using a simple tool. Even a small adjustment up or down makes a big difference to the level of downforce.
Okay, let's get a little more technical. Front wing is a key component at speed because the manipulation of air around the car is the single biggest performance differentiator in F1. And front wing is the first contact to the incoming air. It needs to perfectly lead that air to use all the aerodynamic features optimally, like creating downforce, ensuring uni-flow, keeping the turbulent airflow coming from wheels under control, feed the diffuser and produce vortex. Those little tornado-shaped airflow are vortex. If one fails to design a front wing that can guide the air well, she would have to compensate with other designs like bargeboard or little ribs to generate vortex and so on. Alrighty, let's cover parts of the front wing in AMR 21 model. Here you see the nose cone. Nose cones.
I thought it was hilarious to put that like little glitter on the car.
It through under the body of the vehicle and pass it towards the diffusers. We will talk about diffusers in the upcoming videos. These are flaps and these are movable wings, and the cross section of the wings and the flaps generate downforce, which is crucial for a better grip on the corners. And the overall shape of the wings, like these curvatures that you see, also the end plates, these are end plates, creates an outwash and inwash effect depending on how you would like to design your vehicle. See, wheels are an aerodynamicist nightmare. They turn left and right, they squish during the cornering, and they rotate. Each motion generates a new kind of airflow, and usually while doing two of these movements at the same time, creating a very turbulent air. That's why we need outwash or inwash features to keep that clean air out of that turbulent airflow. Here is a drawing of airflow of RB8 generated by squished air tires. This is drawn by Adrian Newey, the airbender, the last avatar. He does kind of look like an avatar, right? Well, he's my hero. Do yourself a favor and buy his book. You can clearly see the low energy wheel squished air in the diagram there. We kind of want to escape that mess, maintaining the uni-flow. I'll show you a better illustration that includes front wing also, as you can see here. Here is the front wing. There is the flow that is spilling from vortices. And then since the wheel is moving, the air is traveling downwards, but then it has nowhere to go because, you know, there are vortices in here. So air has nowhere to go but squirt sideways. And these are the sort of stuff that aerodynamicists need to deal with. Here you can see the amazing illustration of Paolo Filisetti from his Technical Insights book, where SF90 is almost completely creating an outwash with the incoming air, with the particular configuration of the flaps as well as the steep angle by the end plates. So this is called outwash, taking that incoming air and then just like deviating it towards the outside of the vehicle. Let me show you an inwards example. Here in Shanghai track, Mercedes W109 actually generated both inwash and outwash due to the particular configuration of the flaps. You can see the inwash, the air is directed towards the body, and the outwash is towards outside of the vehicle later on to hug the car. Let's take a step back and go to a virtual wind tunnel and discuss how downforce is generated. And here you can see the cross section of an F1 race car wing. I drew a random cross section, and it basically does exactly the opposite of what an airplane wing does. Airplane lifts because of the contour of the wing. The wings in a race car actually creates a lift force in a negative direction, doing exactly the opposite of what an airplane does. Here, if we calculate the lift value, you can see that it's a negative value, signifying that the force is directed towards downwards, creating that downforce, right? So let's take that calculation back. As you can see, the air flows in different speeds on each side of the wing. Again, we're talking about the cross section of a wing. Here, actually, we can check out the speed. As you can see, below of the wing is all red and yellow because the speed is faster. The speed is lower above the wing, that's why it's purple. The flow below the wing flows faster because the area right below the tail of the wing has a very few air molecules, causing that zone to become lower pressure area. All right, in and out, quick adventure, out of the wind tunnel, back to the reality.
Wow, what an exciting life you lead. Let's go, in and out, 20 minutes adventure.
As you can see over here, we have no air zone, low pressure zone, and then it's kind of like starting to suck in all that incoming air with the high pressure towards the low pressure. Molecules accelerate from higher pressure to lower pressure area, like when you squeeze the tip of a garden hose, the water runs faster, right? That's exactly the same logic here. That's why the lower pressure area right beneath the tail of the wing creates that momentum, causing the air to accelerate along the contour. Since the flow below the wing is faster, there are less molecules per volume, meaning less pressure. And flow above the wing is slower, hence there is more molecules per volume, meaning higher pressure. So the force above the wing is higher than the force below overall. So vehicle is pushed downwards. Here, let's just look at the particles. As you can see, below the wing, since the airflow is so fast, it kind of is like, less particle per volume when more particles are accumulated above the wing. So overall, above the wing is higher pressure area. I'm on the pressure graph right now, and below the wing is lower pressure, hence it's blue. That creates a general downforce. Let's go back to particles. What happens if the momentum of the lower pressure zone right below the tail is not stronger than the flow, incoming airflow? So I'm gonna increase the speed of the air. As you can see, we kind of see a stall formation. Stall formation is basically that gap that you see right below the tail of the wing. We also face the same issue when we lift the inclination of the wing, and usually we want to lift the inclination of the wing because that generates more downforce, but there is a solution for that. Okay, now you see I have a massive separation of flow in here. It's so obvious. The little particles you see here are turbulent air. It happens when the boundary layer along the surface gets sucked by high energy air below, creating turbulence. We will talk about boundary layer next week in aerodynamics of an F1 race car. The turbulence is more clear with the smoke. This is what we don't want because this turbulence can affect the optimal aerodynamic efficiency of the vehicle, and in that case we need some vortex, and vortex is basically tornado-shaped airflow that kind of sews together those separated airflows. The circular airflow on the car is vortex. And on the right hand side, you can see how the vortex unites separated high energy flow with the boundary layer. I'm back to Paolo Filisetti's Technical Insights book, and I'm illustrating Toro Rosso's front wing. And I will focus on the top flap adjustable wing, and I will show you how vortex is generated on the front wing. All right, very quickly, I will draw the upper flap of the front wing and talk about how the vortex is generated. So let's say this is the upper flap, right? The top is high pressure zone, high P, and then low bottom is the low air is the low pressure zone. All that cross section that we were talking about is actually here. See? So this is a 3D, you know, like all this is some sort of that cross section, and the air is coming towards like directly this way. So the separation of air that you would see comes in, goes up and down this way. So it's like opens up towards the back of the board in a sense. So the air, as we know, tends to want to flow from the high pressure zone to low pressure zone. And then this happens on the tip over here because it's available. So, you know, it will keep going this way. So we will get a vortex generated like this. Separation of flow can happen along the line of like at the back of the vehicle, and we will talk about that in the aerodynamics video next week. Thank you for watching. This was such a pleasure. More technical reviews are on the way. If you like my content, please subscribe. And if you don't, leave a mean comment.